Hey, it's Sue, and today I am going to be drawing two Valentine's Day inspired illustrations, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so for this first illustration, I wanted to draw a girl inspired by hearts, and more specifically the Ace of Hearts card you normally find in a card deck, because I always think that's cool, and who doesn't like characters inspired by cards? It's got like kind of almost an Alice in Wonderland vibe, but not at the same time. So I drew her with her hand out and then her arm reaching up to grab her hat, which I put like kind of smaller on the side of her head. I also gave her like kind of like a small cloak shawl thing, and high-waisted pants. I didn't look up any references for the outfit, so maybe it's not the best outfit design, but I like it, so I'm not gonna bother changing it. This is also not a official OC. I'm not gonna write anything about her most likely, but I did enjoy drawing her. She was a very fun character to design and draw. I also didn't design her before I started drawing this, so I made everything up on the fly, which probably was not a good idea, but it's too late now. I did this when did I do this? It was in January, so it's been a little while. So I don't usually do holiday specials. I did one for Christmas, but other than that, I haven't really done anything. But I'm doing one this year just because I thought it would be fun. So that's the only reason. I have never had a date or anything, and I don't really do anything on Valentine's Day, so I don't know why it was Valentine's Day I chose to make a special about. But I did, and it didn't go horribly, I guess. I don't know, I didn't expect to be able to get it done on time because I was procrastinating so much the entire time. So, yeah. I haven't done a voiceover in a while. Can you tell I'm struggling? Well, right now we are working on the line art. Well, I'm working on it. You're not doing anything. But, the line art went pretty smoothly. I feel like I need to start spending more time on my line art because when I do it, I usually just quickly sketch everything in. And it's not very clean, and so I often have trouble when I'm filling in base colors. But, am I going to start spending more time on it? No, probably not, because I don't want to. I had to redraw this hand here quite a few times because it's not a position I draw in very commonly, and I had a lot of trouble with it. Thankfully, though, I managed to get it pretty okay. So I don't know what that ruffly thing is called on the front of her shirt. I've seen it a couple times in some outfits. Wish I knew what it was called, but there it is, and it looks cool, I guess. I don't know. Look, I don't know really what I was thinking with this picture. I was just drawing and hoping it turned out good, okay? There's really nothing else to say about it. I do really enjoy how I ended up rendering this picture. I tend to go a little bit crazy with my rendering when I'm digital, or when I'm drawing digitally. That sounded really weird. I'm not actually digital. I'm a real person. But when I'm drawing digitally, I like to make my rendering pretty crazy. I also made her little cowlick thingy up at the top a heart because I thought it'd be cute. And I think it is, so I'd say mission successful. Yeah. I made okay, I forgot I cut out the base color process. So now you can see that I am doing the blush, and that was a lot of color to just suddenly show up. But, there's nothing I can do about it now. I've lost the footage that I had before, so. Yeah, I blended in the blush, which was difficult because, the nose was right next to the other cheek. And I also tried to add some to the knuckles. I don't remember if I kept this or not, because it kind of looks like she punched a brick of wood and hurt her hand. But, I then moved into the shading, and I did the first two passes of shadow in a purple, not the same purple, I just different purple the second time. But then I ended up adding an overlay layer after I finished these to push the lighting even further in a red to match more with the color scheme. And since I did that, I think it was over the multiply layer, it ended up making the purple fit more in with the red. Either that or I changed the color of the shading. I don't remember which one it was, but I guess we'll figure that out later. I probably need to start planning more before I do these voiceovers because I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I just know I need to get this done before Valentine's Day. So I've not posted in a while. And the other videos I've been creating are a lot shorter than this one because I've been procrastinating. There's literally no other reason than I am just procrastinating. That's the only reason. Nothing's come up. I haven't been doing anything. I've just been lazy. So that's why I haven't been posting in a while, and it's starting to get on my nerves because I need to start posting. What's the point of having a YouTube channel if you don't put anything on it? But I can't seem to get myself into doing it. I need to find something to motivate me. I just don't know what it is. I have been working on the comic recently, and I'm nearly done with the sketching. I don't really like sketching digitally, so I was procrastinating with that too. I eventually just told myself I was going to sketch traditionally and just import the pictures in, which I don't know why I didn't do sooner because now I am behind by a lot. But I am working on it again, so at least it'll get done soon. My plan was to fully color the thing in the end, like the comic, instead of just using gray and then one color each. But that's not gonna happen. There's no way. I've taken too long. If I'm going to do that, I need to start picking up the pace a little bit more. Anyway, here I've moved on to the lighting. I added I think it was like a pinky yellowy light source coming from the upper right side, or our upper right, her left. And then I added a black background. I did experiment a little bit with the background, like trying to add something back there, but I ended up just leaving it black because I could not think of anything, and the IBIS Paint Asset Library did not help at all when it came to it. All the heart things I saw were like really cute, princessy kind of things, and that is not what I was looking for, so I ended up leaving it completely blank. She also looks very pale because of this lighting, or maybe she is just very pale and I didn't notice it. Either way, she's very pale. So maybe she probably needs to go outside. Yeah, there's not much I can really say about that. I'm pretty pale too. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about that. I added a gray highlight to the top of her eyes, and then here's where I added that overlay layer. Actually, I think it was multiplied, but that doesn't matter. It's still over the top of the coloring and stuff. Anyway, I just erased anywhere that the light would be hitting pretty strongly, just so it wouldn't do anything. And I often use an airbrush to erase around the eyes, just because I want those to be more of a focal point, and I think it looks cool when the eyes are like glowing. I did a couple more areas, realized where more light should be hitting based on where the light source is, and then lowered the opacity and added everything back on top. I added some highlights to the eyes, and I did like heart thingies to the cheeks, but I put those on over the overlay layer so they were like glowing, it looked like, and I thought that looked pretty cool, so I kept it like that. Then I added an even darker shadow to one side just to push the lighting even more, and a brighter highlight to the other side. And I just keep adding things basically until the lighting gets really, really pushed and it looks a little crazy, but that's okay because I like it like that. If you look at any of my other digital work, pretty much all of it is pretty crazy on the lighting level. I added some more shading to her hand, and I cleaned up any areas that weren't supposed to be erased at. I don't really understand the planes of the body as much as I would like to, so it is a little bit hard for me to do more detailed shading, but I managed to figure it out to some extent. And I did have trouble filling in these little areas under the shirt wrinkles, but I figured it out eventually. And I think it looks pretty okay. Not that you can really see it because the shadows are so dark, but that's okay. I did some last touches, and I experimented with doing something with the hair. Changed my mind because this doesn't look very good. But yeah, and then I was basically done. Oh, I guess I did add something to the background. I guess they're like red lights or something. I don't know. That's never been a thing that people. That's not normal. But that's okay because she's a cartoon character. I am stalling. Where is the end of this? Okay, I think we're just gonna. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have finally finished the picture. That was a lot. And I think it turned out pretty good. But now we're going to move on to the next picture, which is a little bit more just for the fun of it. So I found this Draw Your Squad, what's it called? Prompt thing, I guess, by Anime Lioness Mika, I think it was. Or Lioness Anime Mika, something like that, on DeviantArt, and I thought it was really funny, particularly because of the tube in the background with the fire. And I figured this would work. I did change it up a little bit because the characters I chose to be on the date kind of thing were Donnie and May would not be making that face. She'd be more focused on the fire in the background, and I had to make sure they were both looking at the two in the background, because Donnie was glaring, and the first time I sketched him out, it kept looking like he was glaring at her, and that was not the case at all, but, yeah, I think I managed to make it look like they were just very, very, annoyed by the two in the background. I also made it Leo who burned the thing because Mikey's the cook, and that makes more sense. And I think Raph knows how to cook a little bit, but I'm not sure. I really enjoyed drawing Mikey. I think he turned out the best. I'm not entirely sure why. This isn't an expression I draw a lot, or a pose I draw a lot, but I do think it turned out pretty good. And for some reason, when I was coloring and shading him, it brought back a lot of nostalgia to when I first started drawing them. I don't know why. I think it's because that first illustration I drew of Mikey and Sammy together, I used the same color for shading I used in this picture, and it just reminded me so much of that. It's only been a year since then, so it hasn't been that long. But yeah, it was. Yeah. Can you tell I'm still struggling with this voiceover? I have not figured out what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been sitting here for 12 minutes and I'm still confused. What am I doing again? Right. So I fixed Leo's face, by enlarging it because it wasn't the right size. And I just was, for some reason, could not figure out how to draw his eyes. I ended up just going back to what I usually do, which I don't know why I didn't start with that in the first place, because that made more sense than whatever I was trying to do with those eyes originally. But I like this face better. And I was kind of stalling too when sketching Donnie and May because I was having a lot of trouble making them look right. I ended up drawing Donnie in 3/4 first, but I ended up turning him so we're kind of looking at the back of his head later because he didn't look like he was looking at the other two with the frying pan. I've run out of things to say already. I thought I'd have more to say or something. I guess this is a good time to mention that I got a account on Tumblr, which I will link in the description. I haven't posted any art on there yet. I plan to post a little bit on there, but it's mainly just for kind of like a blog thing, because I wanted to. There's no other reason. But I've been posting on that more recently. I have one planned for Valentine's Day for then too, which will be put up sometime. I don't know what words are hard, but I guess you guys can check that out if you want to. I tried to edit Donnie's face so he was looking there, but I ended up just having to kind of redraw it basically, because it wasn't working like I was anticipating. I don't know how comfortable it is to sit with your head turned that much. I don't think it's that uncomfortable, but it don't sit like that for too long. You'll get a crick in your neck. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I think we're going to jump to the coloring process because I have nothing else left to say. And then we'll see how it goes then. So we made it to the coloring process, and I kept it really simple with the shading and stuff. I used the airbrush to add a highlight on one side, a shadow on the other, and then went in with some cell shading, and then was basically done. I do think something looks a little bit different with May's face than it usually does. Like, it's not quite how I usually draw it, and I don't know how that happened. But yeah. I've gotten really good at drawing in the Rise style, but for some reason I never apply that to my digital work. I need to start doing that. Because I think it looks better than when I just wing it. Or at least I prefer it than when I just wing it. I don't know if the other one looks bad. I was very sloppy with the cell shading, and looking back on it, there's a lot I would like to fix, because I kind of just scribbled it all in where it made sense-ish, and hoped it looked fine. And I didn't really go back and clean anything up, so there's like little white gaps or things that technically should be filled in with the shading, but there's nothing I can do about it now. I kept the shading a little bit more bold than I usually do because the light source is a little bit more direct. But I do actually like how it turned out. Again, Mikey is still my favorite. I don't know why. And I made the shadows very dark because I liked how that looked. I also kept the background really simple, and I didn't even use the colors that is actually in the show because I did not care enough to do that. Because I was just trying to get this done. I kind of added another light source around the fire, and after that I was done. So these are the two finished pictures I made. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and that you all have a good Valentine's Day, and I will hopefully see you all in my next video. Bye!